drive the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV for another wonderful night here on a Wednesday night. Got Roger Brehm, Scott Allen, and myself, Jack Dawson here. Guess we're going to talk a little.
Eddie.
Well, I guess we're going to talk to Eddie first.
It sounds like it.
All right, pretty good. I'm going to put you on the switch over the main line, okay? It's on you.
Just speaker, right?
Push the phone line number that's flashing and then the speaker. We'll get you trained like the regular chimpanzee.
Yeah. Mr. Pardue, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How's everything your ways?
Doing good. Busy as normal. Got get ready for the last 5-week stretch here.
All right. What got everything ready to go to Talladega?
We are. We're headed down in the morning, flying down in the morning, and go through inspection and practice qualify, and then race on Saturday.
Y'all gonna have three trucks there at Talladega this week, right?
No, Talladega is just 3. It's Brandon Newberry in the 24 with the Core 24, and Ron Harday in the 9.
All right. Kevin's gonna run at Martinsville.
Yeah, Kevin Harper will drive the 14 at Martinsville.
Right. Okay, that's Martinsville. So how's things going with all your with Brennan and everybody down there? How's it going?
It's actually going good. We've it's a new team to start off with. We're building a lot. We've been through a lot of wrecks this year, a lot of failures with the different things, but we've gotten better. We're performance is up. We just need to work on closing the deal and finishing it off now.
Brennan seems to be a good driver, and he's developing really well. Where do you see him in his developmental process?
Oh, he's doing really good. I mean, he's got plenty of speed now. It's just it's more about just getting more experience, these new tracks and these new guys he's racing, and this first full season in truck. So it's learning that too. So he's done a good job, and like I say, the truck series has got a short schedule, so you got to take advantage of everything you can. But we're ready to close this last 5 races out.
Now, the truck series this year, you run on several different types of tracks. What kind of preparations do you have to make as far as going from like a dirt track to a road course to a 1.5 mile, a super speedway? I mean, it's kind of hard for a truck team that doesn't have the money to be able to make those type changes.
It is nobody knew what we needed for the dirt, and going road racing up in Canada, and then your 1.5 mile program and your super speedway. It is quite the challenge to get it right on all those venues, but that's what makes the truck series fun, though. It's got short track super speedways, 1.5 miles. It's got a dirt track now. It's got road course racing. So it's got a little bit of everything for everybody. So I do like the schedule. It is a challenge, but that's kind of what we do.
It's kind of good with the type of schedule that the trucks have. Be able to, you'll have a lot of off weekends in the truck series, and it's not, to me, it's not as stressful as having to be ready to go every week like the Cup cars do.
Well, that's when things are going good, you want to get back at it next week. But when you need a time to regroup and rebuild and switch a truck over to a road course, the extra weeks do give you time, and they do come in. Everybody enjoys that.
Now, you've been around the sport for a long time. Give us a little background on where you got started and how you got started to where you are now.
Well, I got started at Langley Speedway, helped in chip hunt out there in the late model division, worked there for several years, and had a lot of success. And got to a point where I was needing to move on, so I moved to Charlotte 20 years ago. And I first started working with Elton Sawyer in the 38th, back then it was the Bush Series. But that's how I got started, but I got started right there at Langley Speedway with chip hunt.
He must have been down there when I was just starting to run late model.
It was a while ago. It was 20-some years ago.
With all this stuff going on, it's a small world because I know Brennan real well, and every time I run into him, we always visit for quite a while, and we get him on the show quite often. You have to get up with him, and heck, I've probably bumped into you down at the pits or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're originally from this area. I mean, you're from the Hampton area, right?
I born and raised in Hampton, yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to look in our old books, and maybe he's in my system. Who knows?
That's right.
He went to Kickingham High School.
I did go to Kingston High School. I did.
When'd you graduate?
1987.
Oh God, I did 13 years before him.
But anyway, Roger's a whole lot older than you.
Just a little bit.
I can remember racing with Chipper back those days.
Yep. I haven't talked to Chip in a while, but we had a lot of fun, a lot of success over there.
Yeah, his hair is still perfect every time you see him. He's the only guy I know who could run 200 laps and take his helmet off and his hair was still perfect.
He's got it going on.
So what do you for next year? What do y'all have going on for next year, and far as your team is concerned?
Well, I'm not sure the number of teams we'll have. That's always a rotating question. Any race team you work with, but with Truck Series, we got a new nose and tail coming, so we'll be pretty busy over the off season, just getting ready for that. We do have a NASCAR scheduled to test for us at Daytona in January, so that's going to come up on us quick. So by the time we get to the holidays, it'll be time to go test again and get after it.
What's the new noses and everything on the trucks? What kind of things do you see that with that coming out now? What kind of changes that's going to have for y'all?
Well, it's going to be quite a bit different. It's going to look, it looks more like a real current truck that they sell in the showroom, and that's kind of the way NASCAR's been headed with everything with all their series, and that's what they're steering over with the Truck Series. The new nose looks great. It'll be exciting. It's going to be a little bit different aero-wise just because it is shaped differently. But we've got to get a handle on that, get back in the wind tunnel, and everybody's been working hard. So it'll be exciting for sure.
Do you all have any kind of a technical alliance with anybody, or for any type of information or anything?
No, on that we don't. We do all our own wind tunnel testing. We build all our trucks in-house, body-wise. So we're on our own a little bit, but we get a little bit of help from Chevrolet. They kind of help all their teams equally a little bit. Everybody goes their own direction. Everybody's got their own ideas, what works, what doesn't work. So, but no, we're not tied in with any other cut team.
So you don't do you get you build your own motors, or who do you get the motors through?
Our engine program is through ECR, so they do us a fantastic job, and that's right there. We're really happy with that program. I don't know what will happen for next year. You never do, but like I said, we're real happy with their program they have.
Or the coming season with everything that's going to be changing and everything. Have you heard anything about anything with the scheduling, or what may change as far as the schedule for the Truck Series?
I haven't heard anything about what races will come and which will go. I know I'm sure there's a few things up there. Everybody's wondering what's going to happen with Rocky Man with them, their last little bit there. But everybody loves going there. I don't know what happens with that race, if it'll stay or if it'll go. I think the schedule's supposed to be out here in the next week or so, end of the week, and everybody will know then. But I don't have any idea where it's headed or where it's going.
Well, it was awful good to talk to you tonight. We appreciate you taking time out to call and talk to us, and we'll get you back on here again after the
He needs
season's
to
over.
give us some good stories about.
Yeah, yeah. We got one more thing. Can you tell us any good stories about Brennan that we can use on him later?
Or Ron.
Any good stories about Brennan? I have to think of it. I don't have any good stories about him right now, but I'm sure there's a couple. Like they, I'll let me dig deep on that. And I'll get back with you.
Okay, well, we'll get you back on the show.
What about Hornaday?
Well, I'm sure he's got some stories about Hornaday.
Hornaday, he is a full-time story.
Ain't no good unless we have a good story about him, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we appreciate your time tonight, and thank you for taking time out to talk with us. And we'll get you back on here real soon.
Anytime.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
See you at Martinsville.
All right, bud. See you. Come on.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start making up another list again.
Oh yeah.
Who all we're gonna go visit and say hi to now? We said, hey, we'll see you at Martinsville. So Harvick's gonna be running one of the trucks.
Yeah, 14. I had a
with
picture of
Tide.
it somewhere. I had a picture of it somewhere on one of my sites. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you done signed a deal with Junior Motorsports,
Yeah,
driving
he's gonna
nationwide
be
car
driving.
for 15 races or 14 races or something.
I think it was like 12 or something like that.
Something,
So
That's a-
just pull it up on good old.
yeah. J-ski.
Yep. It's already on your laptop.
It's well, I didn't even. I turned it, went off.
Oh.
Gonna be a lot of. I went roaming around the garage at Charlotte. Gonna be a lot of changes, team wise, real soon, from what I'm hearing. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. And
Yeah,
Michael Waltrip lost a lot of his people, or losing a lot of his people.
Yeah,
He
and
had
still losing.
Yeah. I'm curious of what about Napa. I mean, I don't know if they're going to stay in the
Napa's
sport.
not coming. The word, and I talked to a couple people that were, involved in it, and they were told Napa was going to stay out this year. They weren't coming back.
Yeah, that's
this
what I
year.
heard.
So
Yeah, I really hate to see them go and not come. I figured they'd go to another team or something,
Was
but
it,
it apparently
Aaron
does.
said they would still stick around, but I haven't.
Aaron's is going to stick around, but that's on a limited thing because they're going. I mean, they'll be with the team for next year full time, but they're looking at 2015. There's this kid named Chase Elliott.
But they ain't sponsoring this year, which I'm surprised. Well, this year or next year.
Yeah, next year they're not going to have anything to do. They're not going to sponsor, but they're going to continue their sponsorship of the Cup car. But in 2015,
I'm surprised he
don't
hasn't
be
done it.
surprised if you don't see that Aaron's car show up
Yeah,
with Chase Elliott
Yeah.
in the car.
he's a great role model.
So
He's a
I'm
good kid.
almost pretty sure that's going to happen. And I don't know who's going to be in the 55 after Talladega, with Vickers being out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
he had his stuff kicked back up
Yeah,
again?
get blood
Yeah,
clots in his
blood-
leg. So I don't know who's
Well,
gonna
hey, I'll go volunteer. What the hell?
yeah. Yeah.
Several people they're talking to.
Oh, yeah,
No, I'm sure.
There's a lot of people out there that love to
They
talk.
want the sponsor to agree to it, those.
I- When we go to Martinsville, we're going to have to hog tie Cliff Daniels down.
Who's Cliff?
He's the engineer on Tony Stewart's car. We got to say something. Tell him, you got to get Mark Martin out of there. Mark Martin may test that car, and I
They
not
haven't done
anything mean
anything.
against Mark, but he just can't wheel it like Tony can.
No.
I was hoping seriously they put Kyle Larson in there.
Kyle's got his own little situation
I
already.
know, but I mean this was back.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have seen him get in there and run in his car, see what he could do.
Well, Austin Dillon's in it this week
Yeah.
at Talladega. So, yeah, there's. You ain't got to worry about it. After the season's over with, he won't be around.
Well, I know he's still going to, from what I understand, still doing testing for Tony. See, now here's don't get me wrong on this. So I'll probably get hell for this from somebody. Mark Martin is not running it as fast as he could. So when he's doing testing for Tony and they're setting up the car for when they're going to these tracks, is that holding back the team when Tony was still running before his leg was messed up? 'Cause I don't know who he had testing beforehand.
I don't know who he had testing. But they weren't doing that well, honestly. They haven't rode well all season.
They haven't. Yeah, they're not.
And,
Tony at least got one win.
yeah, but
But the thing was, if Mark Martin's been the one testing and he's running at a slower
I don't think
pace,
he has because it's a different manufacturer. So I
No.
don't think he has.
He hasn't tested until he signed on with it. He had.
Yeah, I don't
Dave
think
was. He'd done some testing before for him.
I'd be surprised.
But that's one of the teams that's going to be making a whole lot of changes at the end of the year.
It's going to be interesting how that team turns out. When you got three big personalities that are going to be there. I know you're going to have Harvick and Tony, which are really great friends. But you got Kurt in there. That's just going to be. I think it's going to be a good thing, honestly.
Wait a minute now, and you forgot one.
Danica, yeah, I know. I didn't forget about her.
And what was going on with GoDaddy? I heard some rumors about GoDaddy stuff.
I haven't heard any more about that. My understanding is that GoDaddy and everybody is safe. They're safe for next year. But if performance doesn't change, there could be some changes there too. So,
I figured that was in her back pocket.
Be a performance clause thing.
yeah, I think that's going. She's going to have to do something.
Oh, I think she'll do better with Kevin because I know most of the drivers that I've heard, they always really try to help her get better.
Ow.
She's not working with the commercials like she was at one time.
No, they cut back a lot.
Putting more money into the cup racing, so
Well,
Fixing cars, I guess.
that is going to be an interesting team.
Well, it's going to be hard to say because the whole team hasn't run well. None of the teams have run. Ryan Newman has since the chase has started. He's really stepped up, I think. But I understand they're kind of on their islands on their own.
The personalities on those teams: Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Tony Stewart.
No. Did you see that group text that went out?
No.
I'm not sure how you get them all in the same picture without hitting each other.
Yeah. I like Kurt. Kurt's actually a really nice person
Yes,
outside
he
the
is.
race car.
Yes,
He
he
is
is.
an outstanding. He's a totally different person. Now his ex-wife Eva's a different story.
What you see in the race car.
It's totally different what you see outside the race.
Yeah, it's totally different. Because my son worked with him when he was at Phoenix, and my son
He liked it.
thinks the sun rises and sets in Kurt Busch because Kurt was really good to him, but he had that mouth that
He did.
that got him in trouble every time he turned around.
He liked to call.
You're telling how many millions of dollars it's cost him.
Oh yeah, it's cost him a lot.
Yeah. He said that. Did you watch Hey Race Him tonight with him on?
No, I didn't see.
You didn't see that one.
It's on the DVR.
Trying to get a hold of Mike.
Yeah.
Richard Petty too. He went over to Richard Petty. Richard Petty talked to him. He said he had to bite his tongue on that one because you don't talk back to the king.
No. I'm glad to see old AJ get a ride for next year.
Yeah, that's another guy that my son really liked when he was driving for him too. He liked AJ a lot.
I don't know what the deal was with his old thing there, but it couldn't have been such a big deal if he's gotten back as quick as he has. And
You don't want me to get started on that
Uh-oh.
conversation. You don't want me to get started on that conversation right now.
AJ,
You're about to open that door.
What door is this?
Almendinger.
The Almendinger drug, NASCAR drug
So
situation.
you know something more than I know?
Yeah. But nothing against AJ.
If the story says what he says, if that's true, that's about dumb as
I
hell.
agree. No, but it could be. Okay.
It had to be something not so bad for him to get back
As fast as he got back,
and for people to give him a ride as soon as they did.
and everybody's still behind him, it had to be something
stupid.
close to what he said it was. Okay, that there's no doubt about that in my mind. My problem is the NASCAR drug policy.
What's wrong with
I
it?
agree with it. I agree with the whole thing. But if you're going to throw somebody out there and say we're dismissing them, we're firing them for
Oh, they
drugs,
should tell.
I'm just gonna be honest about it. My son got caught up in it, and the thing about it is, he took a pill he wasn't supposed to take. It wasn't prescribed to him, and he got busted for it. And he's back. He was back to work in a month, a little over a month. But you never heard NASCAR say, "Okay, this is the situation." You're labeling these guys as saying,
"Oh yeah, as a drug addict."
As a drug addict, no matter what, you're a drug addict.
Well, you're guilty before proven.
But you don't. But you don't know that. You don't know what you people that say that don't know what brought that on.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I have a problem with that.
I
get rung up real quick when they start talking.
Well, what about Mayfield? You think that was a
Mayfield is a whole nother story. Mayfield is dumb. He's about as dumb as they come. I've met the guy.
He was shortly after he got into the first situation with the drugs. He was going to get on the show here and everything, but he
really?
He kept saying, "Let me put it off. And then he never got to say anything.
But this working. and I really don't care because I think Jeremy Mayfield was not very bright.
Well, I'll agree with that. I heard there's a settlement coming.
Well, there may be a settlement coming, but he'll never get back.
Oh no,
he'll never get back to what it was. No. But there was too many other things around him that makes me believe, he was doing the stuff he's doing.
I think so too, but I've heard the other side of it. I heard you never know what you can believe and what not believe. But apparently, he seems to think he's going to have a big payday coming in the next few months.
They finally came out with the Sprint Cup schedule.
Oh, he changed the subject on us.
I was going to say this earlier. Because Al was sitting there asking everybody. Now, Kligerman's supposed to make his Cup debut at Texas.
Mm-hmm. With Swan Racing.
Number 30 team.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte fans hit by broken glass.
Yeah, I heard one of the empty suites.
Yep. 6 fans were seen by medical.
Said some of the glass
went in
an
unoccupied suite and turn one broke late in the race. Oh, it fell inward, but a few pieces fell down forward. Section EE.
Call from Mike Smith.
Hey, Mike. Hello, Mike. Goodbye, Mike. He probably read the thing and said, "Oops, wrong number." He's going to be putting it tight on time for our 7:30 guy. Okay. Which number did he call from? Keep talking.
Okay.
You took us off our rant.
Behind the curtain, okay?
Yeah, I was on my rant, and you made me get off that.
Well, get right back on there.
There you go.
That's probably him.
Go ahead, key it up.
Let's talk racing.
Hey guys, Mike in Martinsville. I've been dialing the wrong number. I'm sorry.
I was wondering. That's why I finally said, "Let me send him an email."
Yep, wrong number. I'm sorry. I'm sort of brain dead already. We're still a ways out.
Hey, got a lot getting ready to happen up there in the next couple of weeks.
It is. It's going to get pretty exciting, that's for sure.
So tell us some of the things that's going on up at Martinsville for this race. What's some of the things you got going on around it?
Yeah, first off, like we always have, we've got an amazingly exciting race and Cup race coming up on 27th. We're opening up our new party plaza for this race. It's a new hospitality area where we're going to have live music, DJs, adult beverages, all kinds of cool stuff with that. That's something brand new that fans do on race morning. We're doing our track walk again. It's like for a small add-on to your ticket, you get to walk on the front stretch before the race. Just all kinds of cool stuff. Got a neat flyover this time. Got some vintage warbirds doing their flyover. Got a lady from Lizard Lick Towing. she's going to be a Grand Marshal, Amy Shirley. She's probably towed some of y'all's vehicles down.
We'll make sure mine's got lots of bricks in it.
We always try to do some cool things around the race. There aren't really races. It makes it fun for folks. We've got the North Carolina State University Marching Band, 375 of them coming in to do a national anthem. I don't know if there's ever been a band that large do the anthem for a cup race anywhere. We're excited about that.
Wow.
It's going to be a fun day for everybody. Fun 2 days. Got a great truck race. We've got the Kroger 200 on Saturday. It doesn't get much more exciting than that. They got 50 less laps they do in the spring to get it done. And, they got a championship on the line. Then you got a couple of young guns with local ties like Timothy Peters and Jeff Burton. Everybody needs to come out and make a 2-day affair.
Well, that's good. I mean, do you have any of the drivers out and appearing around or around the track or anything?
We will, but we never find out until like Monday of next week who they are and where they're gonna be. I know we're working with Chevrolet and with American Cancer Society to do a big, a really big function around Breast Care Awareness Month. Shelby will be providing us a couple of drivers for that, but again, we won't know who they are until early in the week. That's going to be really, really exciting. 2 weeks ago for a late model race, we had a pink fire truck from down you guys' way come out and do a parade lap, of course, over Chester.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Part of Breast Care Awareness Month.
There at Martinsville, within the space of a month, man, you got some of the biggest races. You got a cup race, you got the truck race, and that huge late model race, man. I'm gonna tell you that is unbelievable.
It was. I've seen every race Martinsville Speedway since fall of 1977, and it was the most exciting race I've ever seen there. It was, a guy down your way, Matt Walsh, led the most laps in it.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a line that was unheard of, ran outside, side by side with the leaders for about 20 laps until somebody took him out, and it wasn't an accident.
Accidentally on purpose.
The guys from Langley held up well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had what's his name on here?
Butterbean.
Butterbean. He finished up.
Yeah.
He finished up seventh. He was from here, and that was his first time out there too.
Yeah, I think
First time at the
Butterbean's
track.
15, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's the only young driver out there that has an odd nickname. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's a skinny kid. Most Butterbean's fat kid.
Yeah.
Call him
he's
String Bean instead.
Yeah. He can wheel a car though. He's not scared.
Yep. That's it. We had in that race, we had probably 15 drivers that were between 14 and 16 years old.
Wait.
And then we had 53-year-old Dennis Setzer finish second.
Dennis is hard to beat on a short track.
Dennis always has a good run at
Yeah.
Martinsville in them late models.
And when we run at Wilkesboro, he was always the guy to beat too.
Yeah. Hope he has a truck ride next week. I don't know if he is or not. He won 2 or 3 truck races here. Just a good guy. Just a nice guy.
All right, now Roger wants me to ask you a question. He wants to know what it takes to be the Grand Marshal at the race.
You need to be a star.
Well, that pretty much lets all 3 of us out here.
Oh, no, that's the wrong thing to say. Come on, man.
That eliminates any active people on this call.
We'd let you.
I was kind of looking forward.
I was going to bring a sponsor.
Tell you what, you can come out and
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to get down there and get me a Martinsville hot dog. That's what I look forward to every time I get there.
Yeah. I love Martinsville.
When's the next time they're going to have a hot dog eat-off or a competition for the teams?
we used to do it with tacos years ago and Taco Bell 300 and but these guys, these crew members are so health oriented now and such fitness freaks. And I'm not saying a lot of them don't eat a lot of them, but they wouldn't go for a hot dog eating contest. None of them are shaped like we are, guys.
Come on,
so
the guys go over the wall.
That's sort of a no-no for them.
Well, yeah, I guess it is, but I'm going to tell you something. You go look at the rafters in that garage, and when they keep up with how many hot dogs they eat, some of them crew members eat, it is unbelievable.
No, I know. It's pretty amazing. And today we went down to Hendrick Motorsports and
Yeah, I saw that.
had fans in and teams, and it was a fundraiser for the Hendrick Merrill Foundation, and we gave away a couple thousand hot dogs donations. And we were selling tickets. It was a big day. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, those guys probably ran 10 miles after they ate those hot dogs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my name's in the rafters up there too. So when my son was working for Phoenix, I got in on their little deal. So my name's in the rafters too. So.
Cool.
Did you win?
No, I didn't win, but I was close.
How many did you get in?
His name only had 2 marks by it.
I had 7, and I was only there one day, and the guy that beat me had 9.
I could easily have eaten 10 in a day.
Okay, but I'm just saying what I was doing now.
I mean, when I stop to have a bite at Martinsville, it's 3 hot dogs at least.
yeah.
You down 2 pretty quickly.
That's pretty neat how that Martinsville got the hot dog. I mean, that's the big thing for everybody is a Martinsville hot dog.
It is, and it started because back in 1947, Mr. Earls was looking for a local meat packer to sell him some hot dogs that were relatively inexpensive. And at the time, this company, Jesse Jones, was located, or the company that became Jesse Jones, located just a few miles away from the racetrack. That's how it all started.
And they dye those, right? And dye them red?
No, they're born red.
They're born red.
They're communist hot dogs. No, I
okay.
can't.
I just don't get them too close to an open flame.
Right.
Hey, y'all still doing bologna burgers out there too?
I don't think he heard you.
I didn't hear you.
You still do the bologna burgers?
Yeah, we have a couple concession stands. Yeah, South Boston's done more for them than we are, but we do have a couple concession stands. We have bologna burgers.
Wow. I knew we were going to eventually get to the food tonight.
Well, Al Pierce was not here,
Yeah.
so we had to go to the food thing. And Martinsville, we always talk about with Mike Smith about the hot dogs out there.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with Martinsville.
Hey, Mike, I need to get with you one time next year. Maybe we'll set up a charity thing and then maybe have a hot dog contest eating over the weekend or something.
Man, we can try to do that.
Sit there and give every armband, and then you go in and you buy your hot dog.
Does free goodies come with that? Because we'll probably need it eating all hot dogs.
If you guys get to town on Friday, we'll be serving them up free in the media center on Friday.
Okay, I'll be there.
Which door is that?
I'm gonna have to leave a little earlier then. I was planning on coming in Friday evening.
No, I get excited about going to Martinsville because I love going to Martinsville to watch the racing.
It's great racing out
It's
there.
probably the best racing to me on the circuit.
I would agree with you.
The fans are right on top of it. The cars are never getting more than a couple hundred yards away from you. There's always passing somewhere. You don't see them dropping in line and running 200 laps bumper to bumper. It's just good, hard racing. Talladega has the big one. We like to say we have a lot of little ones.
Yeah, and I've already heard rumblings about Talladega for this coming weekend that all the teams are pretty much saying they're going to get in line and run 160 laps and then save it for the last 28, 30 laps, whatever they think.
Well,
that to me, that's just not, that's not the way I like to see racing.
That's how I learned to go to sleep after the first 10 laps and wake up with 30 laps left to go.
But you can't sleep at Martinsville.
I say shame on them. Forget who's paying their bills. It's the folks sitting in the stands watching on TV, and they deserve to have a good show.
Well, I do know of a couple teams that I've already said that when they drop the green flag Sunday, they're going to the back and ride.
Oh yeah, they've done that for several years.
And then
if you go to back in Martinsville, you're going to be a lap down in 10 laps.
You got that right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Martinsville, you got to fight for that win.
Well, Mike, let me ask you one question. And I've looked around at these tracks the ones I've been to, and watching it on TV. the crowds are not the same as they used to be. How is things going at Martinsville as far as your crowd you're projecting your crowd to be this time?
Well, we're in good shape. Last year we were 90% above for each of our races. The same thing this year. And what has happened? We overbuilt at a lot of tracks. Our founder, H. Clay Earl, and his grandson, Clay Campbell, they would never build more than 3,000 seats at a time. So that kept us in a position. A lot of these races still have huge crowds, just not filling all the seats. This week at Talladega, the crowd may look bad, but they're still going to have as many people as any NFL game will have this weekend. So, that's why you're seeing seats covered and seats being pulled out. We're just got to downsize and get back to the point where we can fill our places up. But a key to that is we've got to have a good product. If you don't have a good product, you can't keep selling. That's what it is in any business, and then we're business. So we've been fortunate that we've got a pretty good product. We're on a half-mile track that looks like a paperclip. It's hard not to have a lot of beating and banging and good racing.
I was really disappointed Friday night at Charlotte. To me, it looked like there was more people on pit road before the race than there was in the stands. And the nationwide cars at Charlotte put on a good show too. And I know the time is different, and I just wondered. I'd like to see Martinsville. This day and time they're talking about changing schedules and all this other stuff. I just don't want to see anything go to some of these tracks.
Well, nothing's going to happen in Martinsville. We're in good shape. Our dates are good, and the nationwide race is sort of searching for an identity right now. I think they've got some things coming down the road that's going to help them. And one of the problems that we've got a lot about the diminishing crowds on Sundays. One of the places we really have to work hard on in our sport is the support series, because people don't have the money to travel for the whole weekend like they used to. It was nothing for people to come to town and stay 3 or 4 days. Well, they don't have that money anymore. They're driving back and forth. A lot of times they're just driving one day. So we've got to make sure we make that Saturday show really, really exciting and appealing. We think 250 laps, 200 laps of Truck Series at Martinsville does that.
Well, you could do like Bristol and bring a football game in there too.
No, we don't want that. Kudos to them for doing it. I think it should be awesome.
That would be cool for you guys, though. Really.
That would take too much. I think it takes too much work at Martinsville.
There's not enough room at Martinsville.
We race.
It was probably one of my favorite tracks, like you.
We don't have, we have to tear down everything in the infield where ours is laid out. So we don't even think about those things.
Now, is there have you clued to any plans that possibly you're going to get Nationwide back there running at Martinsville?
We've tried Nationwide a lot of times. They were a staple here for a lot of years. Last time around summer of 06, I think, the crowd just didn't turn out. They haven't gone well here for a long time. Truck Series has worked great for us. For whatever the reason, Truck Series in Martinsville is a great combination. We're one of the original tracks on the Truck Series. We were in 95 when the series started. We were there. Then I think 01 we had the second race, and we don't see that changing.
Well, that's a good. And that's a good race too. That's really.
There's a lot of races.
The truck races are probably some of the better races. Anyway.
Yeah, they're exciting shows. That's for sure.
Well, Mike, we appreciate your time tonight and for calling in and talking with us. And we can't wait to get to Martinsville next week.
All right, man. I'm sorry I was late, and I forgot to slip this in. 877 Race Tix, RACETIX. Give us a call, and you can get tickets cheap as $35.
There you go.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, man. Y'all have a good evening, okay?
All right, man. Take it easy. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Mike Smith, the legendary Mike Smith.
I meant to say something to him about Al said to say hi, but oh well.
So you riding up with Al Pierce when you?
Hell no.
Who did you say you were going up with?
Alan Smith.
Oh.
I thought he said Al too.
That's just what I thought.
You weren't crazy.
I said Alan.
I didn't hear the end part on it.
Yeah. Got one of them memory things, huh?
Where do y'all stay? You just driving back and forth?
No.
I drive. Well, it all depends. It all depends.
I stay at
That's
South
a-
Boston.
You gonna stay there this time?
Yeah, it was only $49 for a room.
That's a long ride back and forth. Well, if y'all get there, I'm gonna kick your feet up. And
I
come
tell you
on.
what,
But you go to Greensboro, though, don't you?
I've gone down to
Yeah, a
Greensboro,
lot of people do.
and
Hey,
I've
Kip.
gone to my son's too.
This is Roger with Let's
Couldn't
Talk
be
Racing.
easy.
I'm going to stick you on
But
hold.
yeah, that's
Throw
when
you
he was
live.
living
How's
in
that?
Kannapolis.
Sorry
I
to run a
could
little
be
bit
there real
behind.
quick, but
Well,
that
Martinsville
won't happen
PR
now,
guy.
he's in
got a little
Cornelius
winded.
now.
And a
Yeah,
little
that's
It's a little bit further. It's a little bit further
Yes,
down.
Mike. I know, but we love it. Hang on a sec. Yeah, Kip. Push the line button and then the speaker.
Mr. Childress, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. This is Jack Dotson, and I've got Roger here with us and Scott Allen also. So, how's everything down your way?
Oh, we're doing okay. It's a pretty October evening.
Have you recuperated from your trip out west?
Well, back and forth, what I've been trying to do is not let myself get too acclimated to any one time zone, I think. So when I get back home, it's not quite an adjustment.
So, how was the race out there this past weekend at what was it? All American Speedway?
Yeah, it was really a great race. It was my first trip out to All American, and that track out there is a lot like a Bowman Gray here in North Carolina, or a South Boston or a Langley there in Virginia. It's got a lot of history behind it, and it really produces some great racing, and we had that. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have my stats here in front of me, but if I remember right, we had 9 lead changes Saturday night. So just a great race up front and throughout.
They got some great young drivers out there, and I guess some older drivers too. But you got some great guys out there on the West Coast. I would like to see more of the combination races where they can get a chance to run with some of these eastern guys.
Yeah, you talk about the drivers we have out west. It's really a good mix of some good veterans and of the younger kids as well. And it works well because the kids really lean on the veterans. And, you talk about a Greg Persley who, he's got a teammate in Cameron Haley, and he kind of helped guide the Haley. He helped, guide Dylan Kwasniewski, last year. And so Greg's a real good mentor in the garage area, as well as a number of others that are too. But yeah, I think the teams they really like running the combo events. In the 2 events at Iowa and then the Battle at the Beach last year, they like being able to run against the counterparts on the East. We'll have, I don't know, it'll be 5 or 6 East guys come and run, our finale out at Phoenix, and there'll be some of the higher tiered teams, and it'll really give the West guys a chance to match what they've got up against the East guys. But when you get right down to it, it all comes down to dollars and cents too, because it costs a lot of money to put these trucks and trailers on the racetrack to get the cars to the track, or on the road to get the cars to the track.
Right. And is there any plans to maybe doing a couple more of the combination races or anything like that? I know you do them at Iowa every year.
Right, and I don't know. I think the biggest challenge now is just finding the appropriate venue to have it. Iowa, with it being pretty close to the middle of the country, it makes for a good place to have a combo event. Some others that have come to mind that the challenge is that some of them aren't open right now. The track that I've always kind of had on my wish list would be like a Gateway, a good sized venue that's still close to the center of the country, and would be a good chance for the guys to go up against one another. And if that could ever get put on the schedule, I know they're trying to get things put back together where they could possibly host some events moving forward, but that would be another one I think that we put on our checklist.
Yeah, I know a couple of the guys that run out there on the West, Derek Thorne and Dylan Hutchison, and they always say that there's a little bit of a difference between the East and the West in the K&N series. Do you see that as there is a difference between the two?
Well, I think there is, and
and when you get right down to it, we really work hard to make sure that the cars are as close as they can be when they come to the inspection line. And, hats off to Clem Drosty, who is our technical director out west, and Andy Mitchell, the technical director in the east, and then all of our group of officials on both sides of the country, that they really do a great job of making sure that we're inspecting the cars, the same way no matter what side of the country we're on. I think what we notice more so than anything when you do compare the East teams versus the West teams is more the resources and the personnel. When you're in North Carolina, you're in, around the Charlotte base where you've got a lot of the teams that are based in that area. And it goes right up through the Truck Series into the Nationwide Series and the Cup Series. There are a lot more resources back east to lean on. And there are a couple of the teams in the West that have the funds where they can send cars and whatnot back east to be repaired, or they buy their cars from teams that have raced in the East, and so I think the biggest thing it boils down to is just resources and personnel.
So I guess a lot of it is the fact that the on the East Coast, some of these the East teams in the K&N have a little bit of a tie into some of these bigger Cup teams and nationwide teams and everything too. Are any of the West teams tied into any of that?
Yeah, and I'll back up just a touch too, because the East teams, I think back in 2008 there were more East teams that were associated with a national based team. With DEI having several teams, RCR having several teams, or a couple of teams throughout the years. Then you have teams. Joe Gibbs had 2 teams off and on throughout the years. This year in the East Series, the only team that has any ties to a national series team is the Turner Motorsports teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, they've got 3 full-time teams and 2 part-time teams, so they take up a large portion of the garage area, the full-time teams. But when you can look now and you see the teams that are able to compete with those national back teams or national affiliated teams, I think it really says a lot for the series that you do have as many of the smaller family-operated teams that are running in the series now. But when you look at the teams in the West, there is the 21 car that Michael Self drives. They've got some affiliation with Richard Childress Racing, and I think that just goes back to Jim and Patty Offenbach that own the car. They've been longtime friends with Richard Childress, and I think that Richard lends some technical support. I know that whenever RCR had some cars that when we went over, when Nationwide went from their older car to what they're running today, the Offenbachs had an opportunity to buy a lot of those cars and still get a lot of support from the chassis department at RCR. And then, one of the teams that runs with us, Steve McGowan's team that David Mayhew drives, they used to be affiliated pretty heavily with Kevin Harvick. But since Harvick's, since KHI has closed up, then that kind of dissolved, although I know that they still have some ties back east as well. But, I think it's, one of the neat things is that no matter if a team has that affiliation with a national based team, or if they are an independent, so to speak, they're all still as competitive as we've ever seen, up and down the garage area.
Now you're new to the West Series, just getting this director's job out there and everything. What have you seen out at the racetracks out there, as far as the fan involvement and people being at the racetrack? Back here, it just seems like in some of the places back here, they're not pulling the crowds. What are you getting out there?
It's a mixture. This past weekend at All-American Speedway, they had a packed house. It was really encouraging to see the amount of fan support that they did have there. And, a lot of that goes back to the fact that this is one of the events that Bill McAnally and his group promotes. And Bill obviously owns a few of the cars in our series. Well, Bill really works hard when he promotes an event to get out and tell people about it. And he's not afraid to advertise. He's not afraid to, to get on a radio show or, to get on a TV show in the local market and tell people about the event. And, with the race at All-American, too, and the history that it has behind it, he can lean on a little bit of that history. But I think what we see is that when the promoters get out and they tell their local fans about the events that are coming up, we see more turnout. When the East raced at Langley Speedway earlier this year, we had a great crowd for that event, and I think Chuck Hall and Bill Bolles, they do a great job getting out and telling people about it. Bowman Gray Stadium, and Bowman Gray has great crowds just about every time they open the gate, but they're still not afraid to get out and promote.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sitting back and resting on their laurels at all, and I think it really shows each and every time that they have a packed house around that little quarter-mile racetrack.
Yeah, because Bill McInally put out, he had a whole lot going on prior to that race. I saw a lot of that on Facebook and his Twitter stuff. He really had a lot of things he was doing to promote that.
Yeah, he sure did. And I hit the ground there on Thursday evening, and then all day Friday had a chance to, I tried to get out and learn a little bit of the area, but you couldn't go anywhere without seeing an advertisement or picking up a newspaper and seeing an advertisement, or even hearing, local spots on the radio there as well. So, he like I said, he really does a great job when he's promoting an event. He's going to have a little bit of a tie-in with the folks at Kern County Speedway, which we're racing at, not this weekend, but the following weekend. But, that's a new venue that we can't wait to get out to. And I think they're going to have a big crowd there as well. They've seen both ends of the spectrum of having really strong crowds on some weekends and then some lighter crowds on others. And I think that, I did go out there to visit one weekend on a night where they had the State Fair was in town, and Jody Messina was playing on the same night as they were racing their local program. So, it's tough when fans have other opportunities to spend their entertainment dollar. You've really got to get out there and sell them on it.
All right, let's look at next year, 2014. What kind of things do you see changing in the East and West Series as far as things that we should be looking for?
Well, one of the things that we've taken a lot of pride in over the last 4 or 5 years is not having a whole lot of change in regards to rules, because it's tough on these teams to begin with without having to worry about a whole lot of rules changes, and anytime when we change a rule, it costs teams money. Mm-hmm. So we've really worked hard to keep our rules to be pretty consistent year after year. Now, we've had our updates in terms of safety, and I think the seats always come to mind when people talk about safety updates, and the seats were not a small expense. But now we're behind, or we're past that now a couple of years, and everyone is pretty well settled into all the updates we've mandated. So from a rules standpoint, our changes are very, very minimal. And from we're working on schedules now. I think with the announcement of the Sprint Cup Series schedule that came out, we'll start seeing some of the other schedules fall into place. I don't see a whole lot changing in the way of where we go. I know that's one of the things that we are trying to work on out west, though, because the West Series teams they travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to 2 trips to Iowa, a couple of trips up to the Pacific Northwest, a time or 2 down to Phoenix, they cover a lot of ground, and so we're trying to be a little smarter with how we position the events in our schedule, so we don't get into the 12th, 14th of the season, and all of a sudden have teams running out of money because we've got them driving down the highway.
All right, we had Mike Smith on here a few minutes ago.
The other number to call.
And you got any good thing you want to talk to Mike about?
Did I give?
Mike is a great asset to
Let me check. I thought I sent you the number.
As well as
All right, look.
He's a big race fan with short track racing in general.
Yeah.
So
727.
I'm sure he had a whole lot of great things to say about the recent event with the late models.
Sorry about that. Bye.
At Martinsville, and then their upcoming weekend here in a couple of weeks with the the Campbell World Truck Series and the Sprint Cup Series coming to the Clays track. And the only thing that I hate about that is that's the same weekend we're out at Kern County, and I'll have to miss getting a Martinsville hot dog.
We were discussing that too. Well, we appreciate your time tonight, and hopefully we'll get a chance to get you back on here again real soon, and we'll get further into the West schedule.
Well, I appreciate, you guys asking me to be on, and anytime we have an opportunity to talk about our short track racers, it's good for us, it's good for our teams, and I just appreciate the opportunity. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, when you get back up to Kern County, tell Dylan Hutchinson I said hi.
I'll do that. I'll certainly will.
All right, man. Talk to you later. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Kern County Speedway, and I put this on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, but Kern County's got a fried bologna sandwich that's almost as good as the one in South Boston, so we may have to see if we can get a little East Coast, West Coast rivalry going on with their bologna sandwiches.
All right, hey, let's do that. That'd be a fun thing to do.
All righty.
All right, man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Anything with food, right?
I mean, that food pops into this show every time. I don't care what you do. You're going.
Hey, I was
You
for
didn't
sure
even-
coming.
you
He said
didn't-
he was buying dinner afterwards.
You didn't get a chance to ask him if he went to get an In-N-Out burger when he was on the West Coast.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Everybody likes an In-N-Out burger.
I haven't been to In-N-Out.
I want to get one. I'm going.
One of these days.
One bad.
One of these days we get a big sponsor. We'll go out West Coast or
All right,
something.
wait a minute now. I got two lights flashing here.
You just got
No,
one
just
there.
got one. Corey LaJoie.
Let's talk racing. How you doing, Corey?
Pretty good, you?
I'm doing pretty good. This is Jack Dodson. Got Roger Brehm and Scott Allen here with us. So how's everything your way and getting ready for racing?
Man, I wish I was in there every weekend, but all the RPM guys doing a hard job there. Trying to find money to put me in a race car, and it's hard to come by, but we're trying to put some stuff together for our Homestead.
Do you have anything set as far as next year is concerned, or is that still in the planning stages too?
It's still in the planning stages. It's still in the funding stages. We got to get the funding first, but everything's looking pretty good for gearing up for a nationwide series schedule. I can't really say a whole lot now. Actually, I don't even have a whole lot of details myself, but
Well, we won't tell anybody.
It's just us.
I would be ecstatic if I had something, and I would be telling everybody about it if that's not the case. So, I did all I could this year with winning 3 out of 5 ARCA races, and building a car at Dave's racetrack, and I couldn't have done anything better. So hopefully everything comes my way, and we can go racing all year next year.
So the ARCA car was that was one of your dealing on your own, or did you drive for somebody else?
No, that was our deal. We used Rule of Brothers number just in case it rained out or something. We get a little better starting spot, which we did at Kentucky and Pocono. So kind of worked out there. And Petty's helped out with pit crew and engines and stuff like that. So man, it was a perfect storm there. The car ran really good, and we were able to get 3. We should have had 4 victories there in Kansas, but the driver kind of malfunctioned there. But I learned, and that won't happen again for sure.
So you don't have anything set up. I mean, you're looking to have a schedule for next year with Nationwide. What all have you done this year other than the ARCA? Have you been in any other cars other than the ARCA car?
No, so technically, yes, with the one Cannon race at Richmond, and we were racing for the lead there, and Greg Golding spun us out. We tore the car all to pieces, but other than that, I haven't. I've raced 6 times this year, and that's it, and won 3 of them. So, and led every single one. So, I'm doing all I can on my end, and hopefully somebody can step up and put me in a race car.
Now, what were you doing this past weekend at the track?
In Charlotte?
Yeah, you were getting your name mentioned a lot on the TV.
Yeah, all the Sports Center hosts were down, and they kind of doing the whole tour. They kind of assigned every one host, for however many people they have. I think they have 6 people, so every host got their own team. They get the tour with the whole weekend. So all those people like Linda Cohen, Kerry Champion, Jade McCarthy, Kevin Nagandi, all the guys from Sports Center, they showed up Saturday, and I gave them a ride in a Richard Petty driving experience car, and kind of scared the crap out of them guys for a little bit. That was a good time.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You need to get one of those at Martinsville.
Yeah.
All right, now I was looking at your Facebook and Twitter. Where were you at Monday or Tuesday at a sausage factory?
Yeah, one of our sponsors for the last race there was Uncle John's Pride Country Smoked Sausage. They're down at Tampa, so I had the pleasure of going down there this weekend and or this week actually, and seeing how the whole process there is made and get a little more, appreciate the business a little more, which is really cool. And Kevin Croft and all those guys down there have helped us out tremendously. Hopefully we can get some B2B deals lined up so they can come on board a little more next year.
Yeah. We always seem to find a way to bring up food on this show, so we wanted to make sure we got that in.
That's good stuff. I know y'all in Virginia. I don't know if they're that north yet. I think that they're as north as South Carolina in all of Publix. So if you're around a Publix and you see some Uncle John's Pride Country Smoked Sausage, make sure you pick you some up with some horseradish mustard, and they make a hell of a hot dog.
Well, we can give you our address. There's this thing called FedEx.
Yeah. Well, hell, they I don't know about the frozen box, so you got to keep them cold.
All you can do is throw them in a box with some dry ice. They'll keep them cold.
All right. Well, I'm not in the shipping department, so that's dry.
It's surprising I know that, right? I've had food shipped to me before. It works. Which we still are owed a pizza by CJ.
Well, what was it like to get that call to become one of the developmental drivers over at Richard Petty Motorsports? I mean, I know that was a big deal for you.
Yeah, for sure. They've definitely eased up a lot of the weight that's on my shoulders when it comes to, obviously help, technologically, financially, and just an overall guidance of where I need to go in my career, and they've given me a pretty good path. Unfortunately, it obviously takes money to go down that path, but I'm definitely a lot better off with them on my side than I am by myself. So all of the guys at Petty's, they definitely helped me out a whole lot. Hopefully I can pay back their investment here in a couple of years when I'm winning some cup races.
Now that you and Ryan Truex both are on there, what is it? Is it going to be a situation where he's going to have his own separate deal, or will you all possibly be sharing a ride or something?
I sure hope we wouldn't be sharing, but I don't know what is on their plate. I just know what's on my plate. And, they say they can handle it, so they whatever they got cooking is their own business. And I've got a couple of things cooking on my end that they're helping me on, and hopefully we can get some races sold and on the front side of the year, and then continue selling races towards the back end of the year. And whatever. I guarantee these guys, once if they get me on the racetrack and all the other stuff fall in place, because running good sales. So there's no doubt about it. They got really good equipment. They got good people over there, and I think we get the job done for sure.
How involved is your dad in your racing with I know you did the car together and everything, but as far as, does he spot for you, or is he with you all the time or whatever?
No, I relieved him of his sponsors a couple of years ago because I couldn't take it. It was more of a cockpit and a radio than it was. So, but no, he's definitely there every weekend, and it's come to unspoken agreement. He works on the monetary side, tries to get to the racetrack, try to make ends meet over there, and I get the race car ready and make sure nothing falls off at a racetrack, and make sure we got speed. So it worked last year in the K&N series, and it worked pretty good this year in the ARCA series. And hopefully that's what they pay those guys big money with their RPM to kind of take over those roles. So hopefully I'm gonna get over there and flow right into their system and go all the way to the top.
So are we going to be doing any racing back there at the Field Filler Fairgrounds back there behind the place?
Man, honestly, I'd love to, but my schedule's so busy now. Working on this person's car, that person's car, working on my own stuff, and Brandon's got his stuff going on, and Casey, my little brother's doing the Connecticut School broadcasting. Interest is there, but motivation is not. So, or time's not. So we just haven't got time to A, build our cars, and B, even maintain the racetrack. track, so it's got weeds. It needs a good old day of Roundup and a weed eater. So we even got that. But I'm sure we'll get out there one of these days because we're all itching for a little bit of playtime. But now we got all these indoor go-kart tracks, even outdoor with the go-kart, the GoPro Motorplex there. That,
Yeah.
It's worth paying the $20 to go over there and have a good time. One day a week or so, and not have to deal with all the rigmarole and the politics going on. This guy's got a big motor, this guy's got tires. Let's just go there and have a good time and beat the crap out of somebody else's car.
I mean, y'all had a great situation back there. That was a lot of. I was out there one time. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we had. The most we ever had there was an unofficial count was like 400 people, and we sold. I know half of them got it for free, so when we sold 300. All for all insurance policies and all that stuff. So they just got too expensive with insurance. We weren't making any money. We were almost paying some out of pocket just to cover insurance. So a couple 21-year-old kids aren't going to be giving up money for a good time very often. So it kind of winds itself down, unfortunately. But hopefully we can, it'll work itself down to the bare bones like it just when it started, and there'll be a couple of plays out there running some yard carts, and then it'll start growing back again. And I'm sure the whole cycle will happen again.
Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Glad I had a chance to talk to you, and we'll try to get back with you again, and hopefully you'll have some news for us.
I hope it. I hope I'd look down here talking about whatever plans we got cooking. But I appreciate you guys having me on.
If you get any updates, give me a shout, text it to me, and we'll try to get you back on here.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your time.
See you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Ta-da. Now you get to.
Now it's on you.
No, on me?
Yeah, it's on you now. We always say the best for last.
Hey, y'all smart. Smart.
Any other lies you want to hear?
Yeah, right. I got plenty of stories. Now, I want to thank you guys for letting me come on, and I want to thank Mark Roberts and Eric Wickheiser. They really helped me do the wing champ. I drove for Mark. He was here a couple of weeks ago or so with his son. But the biggest thing is the arena seasons. We have a lot of fun. The arena is it's just a tremendous amount of fun. I mean, for $10, you go to a place and you see 200 and some laps of people flipping over and wrecking and carrying on.
And it's one of the few places you can get a car to flip over and be able to flip it back up and keep racing it.
Yeah, I mean, year before last, I flipped over a few laps in the race and they flipped me back over and I finished second. So it doesn't. As long as you don't get too hard into the outside wall, the car can keep going.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you, but we've gotten invites to go out and cover some of the stuff out there too.
Well, I love going. I've been going. I don't think I went but one time last year, but
it's up in Richmond.
Yeah, it's all up in Richmond now. Well, y'all guys, come on out. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But our arena season was actually kind of looking kind of bleak because Eric Wickheiser, he owns the car I drive for him, and he puts a lot of his own money in it. But we signed Miles of Seamless Gutter. They're out in Norfolk. They stepped up to the plate. They put their name on the hood, so we're going to go. For sure, we're going racing this year. Joe's Custom Cornhole Boards, they stepped up today. They learned we were going on a show, and the car's going to be at the Homerama for the next 17, 18 days, so it's going to get a lot of exposure there. Miles of Seamless Gutter actually rented another booth and spent a lot of money just so they can put the car in there to bring a lot of attention to their booth, so we hope it works out for them, and a lot of people go to their fan page and like it so that we can get some more money next year. They want the whole car next year, that's a good problem to have. Good. And a foundation that we're behind is the Zims Foundation. Raised a lot of money for MS. Ryan Zimmerman is third baseman for the Nationals. As you know, their foundation does a lot, and like 95% of their money goes back to bringing home a cure. They have a lot of volunteers. They don't spend a lot of the money, so like 98% of it goes back, which is unheard of for a lot of foundations today. When you hear that 2,000 people a week are diagnosed with MS, it's hard to believe how bad the disease is until you meet somebody who's got it. And his mom has a severe case of it. I mean, she's in one of those wheelchairs. She can't even turn her head. A machine's got to turn her head. It's a tough deal. And our clothing line, Filthy Drip, which everybody at the racetrack is always asking us for clothes and shirts and hats, and we throw a lot out to the stands, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, let me have some filthy clothes.
Yeah. Well, most of the people, now that we found out they have this Killing It brand, everybody wants the Killing It shirts. They was like, man, can I get a shirt? And they just go so fast. and I really think those guys out at Filthy Drip, because I just call them up and I'm like, hey, wondering when they're going to say, look, you're getting enough stuff. But they just, no, keep on calling. We'll keep giving you more.
Advertising is advertising.
Right. So it's great. It's great for us. And I will say that Miles is going to give 10% off for their gutters. If I flip over, there's a sign on the bottom of the car. So on Monday, if I flip over, you call on Monday, you get 10% off for gutters. So make sure you watch out for that. And I really got to thank the crew. Eric Wickheiser puts a lot of his own money out on the race car. And JT, he's kind of the crew chief. He works a lot of late nights and spots. And Eric's daughter, Madison, she comes in. It's a lot of fun. It kind of keeps us, because she's there, so it keeps us halfway straight. We don't get quite as terrible as we normally do on our own.
With the arena cars, I know that the last couple of years, it seemed like the car counts were down. How's it looking for this year, or have you heard anything?
My understanding, the count is supposed to be up. It has been down the last couple of years. The market's hit everybody. I think at one time Ricky had 3 franchises. They had Charlotte, Michigan. I think they were talking about going out to Vegas at one time.
At one time they were talking about doing that.
The last couple of years, I think we've had 20-some cars. We've just had an A and a B main. My understanding, I think we're going to have a C main all year, which will be great. I know the Kid Series has kind of really gotten popular, and I think that's about booked. It's really close. They may have 1 or 2 slots open from my understanding, but that's going to be booked. So it's a great thing. There's not a whole lot of places you can go to the race, and they let the fans in an hour before the race, and they all come around, and they give a lot of posters out and flags that the kids can buy, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's hard to believe how many people come and they have never heard of it before. Up there, they say, I've never heard it. Where have y'all been? And I'm like, it's been around for a long time.
It's been around for a few years. I remember when it was in Hampton and Norfolk, and we used to do all that.
Yeah,
and I even went to Charlotte. They did the races in Charlotte. I went a couple times down there, especially the first one they had when Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart and all them raced down there.
Yeah, don't forget when you had Joe Gibbs and the guy.
Norm. It was funny. I ran into Norm, which is CEO of Interstate Batteries. He's an investor. Him and Joe are both investors in the group. And I ran into him at Daytona, and I said, "Hey, Joe," because I own an auto repair shop out in Virginia Beach called Courthouse Imports, and we do a lot of import side of the thing. And I said, hey, I just got talking to him and just want to let him know that I use their batteries. And I said, I run an arena car, man, and his eyes just lit up. He loves arena racing. He's like, how's the crowd? Man, we got to get 3,000 people is what we got to get. And it was so funny to see how excited he was about it. But he just loves arena racing. And I think last year we did one live. We did one over the internet that last year before last, did live, and they turned the lights off and shined some lights on the racetrack. So it's a tough little track. We're close to 60 miles an hour, about 8 seconds, just under 8 seconds a lap.
When they were doing the Coliseum, we were trying to set up to do that, but there was some snafu because the city had some issues about having something broadcast live, and they're not getting any money for it.
Yeah, I know we did it once this year in Richmond, and I know it was something they was trying to do. Ricky's a salesman. I don't know how well you know Ricky. Ricky is Ricky.
I talked to him at the racetrack. At the arena races a couple times.
Yeah, so. Ricky is good at what he does, and that's what he does is sell.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who was in charge when I was talking.
Blake Murphy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to go down to the one down there, and then one day went down and talked with the Coliseum and trying to figure out how to
make it work. We should talk to Ricky or come up with us. Our season starts November 9th, and we got 15 races. There's going to be a couple double headers Friday and Saturday night, which is a little rough on us guys because I'd say majority of them are come from this area and go up there and race. It kind of sucks, but it's a lot of fun. We truly, to me, if we're not having fun, I'm not coming to race. Yeah. And we have a lot of fun.
I told Tony Stewart that if you ain't having fun, get your ass out of here.
Yeah. and that's so true.
That's when he was being the bad boy.
Yeah, that's when he was mad all the time.
and now it was me and one other person, one a lot closer to him than I could ever be, and she said, "You need to." So apparently, between the two of us, that must have worked.
Mm.
I think she had more to do with it than I did.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounded good
Yeah.
anyway.
I think he's got a few girlfriends.
Who, Tony Stewart?
Every time I see her at the racetrack, there's another one there. It seems like.
Now you heard that what some of the scuttlebutt was what there was a bar that went through his leg, and that's why it's giving him. He went back in for some more.
Yeah,
They said it was infected
He
or
had
something.
infection. So they're concerned because they've been doing skin grafts and trying to get where the rod shot through and took out that bone in the leg, and trying to. That's why they had to put the rods in there, was because they didn't have all the bone to the leg.
Those things are nasty. Those cars.
Yeah, we know somebody that races them, and she's not the happiest with them either, especially when they're ill handling.
Yeah, but I can imagine. I bet it's a blast though. But I mean, you're going so
Sometimes,
fast.
if you ever can, go to the Knoxville Nationals, and they actually have a thing where they have this sprint car set up for 2 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Now, see, it's different when you ride with somebody else. When you're driving,
That's
you're in
exactly
control.
right.
You know?
Well, the thing is that he knows a little bit more how to handle
Well,
the
yeah,
sucker
yeah.
than we would.
It'd be hard to go down in the corner and not lift and just jerk the wheel and get it sideways and just dirt track it through. I mean, that's.
Hey,
Well, she's got
Go-
more than I got.
Yeah.
go find somebody to lend you a late model. Go out here to up here on 17.
Oh, Southampton?
No.
Oh, what are you talking
What's his name? Used to own Richmond.
Damn, I could have told you before you said that.
Sawyer.
Sawyer
Yeah.
out at the Virginia Motor Speedway. There we go.
Yeah. I haven't been out there yet, but I hear it's a wonderful place. I heard it's really nice.
I haven't been out there either. I've been wanting to go since not since he's been there.
Did he start out with how he started getting into racing and everything, or you
No,
just
he-
went straight to it?
We just went straight to it. No,
Well, do a little racing resume. You got people sitting here who are going to be listening and they'll be watching later on YouTube.
yeah, and
so.
somebody's gonna send me a lot of money, right? Yeah.
Hey, I will tell you this. From the show, I know of at least almost $300,000 in sponsorship dollars.
Well, if I could get about 10% of that, I'd be all right.
And there's two different nationwide drivers. One of
Is
them
it?
was Robert Richardson, by the way. He got a couple of $100,000 out of him.
Doug, I don't think he really needs it.
Oh, the time I think he did.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I started a long time ago. Actually, I worked for Barry Strathman. I worked in his auto repair shop. I actually worked for him for 10 years, and he kind of treated me like a son for a long time. And he had actually started. Charlie Doyle was working on his car, and they kind of split up. And he said, "Hey, you want to start working on a race car?" And I'll pay you, and that's how I kind of started. And too many people got paid, and that didn't last for about a nanosecond. And
Well, Charlie worked on my chassis on my late model when I
Did
was
he?
racing, but we were friends, so I didn't have to pay much.
Yeah.
Although I helped him out with a few things and never got returned payments.
yeah, well,
I bought a piece of machinery that had never showed up, and so
well, yeah,
my wife was not happy with him about that.
Yeah, well, that's Charlie.
Yeah.
But I did that for a while and worked on his late model, and we had a lot of fun. We had Brent Vincent worked on the car with us, and I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if y'all know Brent. He owns I can't think of the graph. He owns a sign company in Chesapeake, Visual Effects.
Yeah, you told us about that earlier.
Yeah, and this is pretty funny. One day, and Brent's one of those guys. He's very intelligent, but he ain't got a lot of common sense, but he's real smart. And we had just got finished qualifying. We were scrubbing the tires, and I tell everybody the story. And everybody knows him. I tell them the story, so they'll write him about it. But we're at the back of the car, and I'm doing one side, and he's doing the other. We're doing the back of the car, and I get done scrubbing my tire, and I roll the tire because he's still over there scrubbing. He gets his arm caught between the tire and the fender a couple times, and he's hollering. And a lot of people didn't think we get along, but we were like the best of friends. But we rode each other real hard all day. And so we got to the front, and I scrubbed my tire, and he scrubbed his, and I got done, and I was sitting on the trailer, and he come over, and he said, "Man, I got something to tell you, because it's too funny not to tell you." I said, "What?" He said, "You know when you kept rolling the tire in the back?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, when we got up front," he said, "I seen you over there. I was peeking over the hood, and I seen you scrubbing that tire, so I rolled my tire real fast, and I ducked down under the tire, and I started laughing." He said, and I looked back across, and you were just still sitting there scrubbing the tire. And he said, "Damn, he must be scrubbing the hell out of that tire." He said, "So I rolled that tire real fast the next time." He said, "I'm over there chuckling under the car." He said, "I look across the hood again, and you're still there." And he said, and he looked under the car, and he said, "Oh, those ain't connected." So So if you ever see him, you got to ask him about it. We used to
That's
get,
pretty good.
yeah, I used to get somebody to call him up and they'd say, "Hey, yeah, this is such and such from Richard Childress Racing. We understand that you can scrub some tires." He's like, and then my nickname then, everybody used to call me Hairball. That was the nickname that Barry gave me, and it stuck with me for a long time. He's like, "God damn, you've been talking to hell, hadn't you? I wish you put that shit in the paper so everybody would know and I wouldn't have to hear it no more." But you can't make that up.
No, that's no. It's always something somebody does. It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh god, that was we had one of the guys on CJ. Was it CJ that asked the girl if she was pregnant or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she wasn't.
I knew as soon as he said that. That's what it was. Oh man, that's bad.
Oh god. Yeah, that same night, that's when we were supposed to be getting our pizza the next day by FedEx, you know. He was at Little Caesars, that's one of their sponsors on the car. And
Well, I know
pizzas.
when we were all racing, we had a guy that he was helping us and everything, and he was hanging out, and for some reason he always loved to get that air hose and blow it in his mouth and watch his face go like this, but he'd always get down behind the car but nobody could see him. Yeah, he would blow it and see his face going. It's crazy that people just do crazy stuff. You don't even think about, man. That's just...
Yeah, we used to do all kinds of stuff. I can't remember half of it. We used to pick on each other hard. We used to have we had some of the best times then. I mean, we really did.
Yeah, those were good days.
There's still more ahead.
Hopefully, we're on this side of the dirt.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right. Did you still ever get his racing resume? No.
Well, you asked. I was.
Right, you guys saw it. How did you get into the racing world?
Well, originally, I worked for Barry Strathman and got into late models then. And
You didn't race anything before late models?
No, honestly, no. I mean, I never drove. I just worked on Barry's race car for several years, and I worked for Barry for 10 years, and then I had a daughter come along, but just prior to that, they had that pit crew competition, and I was pretty good going over the wall and changing tires, and I was thinking about doing it for a living at that time, and then a girl I dated in high school got pregnant, and
That changed another thing.
Yeah, it did. I mean, at that time, I don't know how many weekends your son's gone, but I know at that time, Robert Presley was driving a 33 car, and they put an article in the North Carolina paper, looking for some pit crew guys, and I was going to go down. And you had to be gone, and the schedule was only 32 races, I think, then, but you had to be gone 38 weeks out of the year. And I said, man, I would just be better off at home and, being with my daughter. So I chose, Barry got out, and I got out, and Eric, I've been inspecting his car at my shop, and he had an arena car. And I said, man, don't you let me try to do that. And so one day he come in with the schedule and says, you ready? So, I mean... we started. I mean, this will be my third year driving, and we've won a couple races, so we've done okay.
Now Barry, didn't he get married to
Kathy Mosier?
Kat?
Yeah, they divorced now, but Barry's a different person than he used to be. He's kind of.
I used to remember sitting up the stands watching those guys going to the mini
He's
stocks
crazy,
or whatever it was back then.
Yeah. Well, Kathy, then you had Tanya Miller at the time was running, and there was like the feud kind of, not really a feud, but it was a big thing for the racetrack then, because you had two girls racing for the win every week. Yeah. And we had a good time between her crew and us. So we had Larry and I can't remember the other guy's name that worked on her crew, and then we'd all go to it was the pit stop then, the bar outside the racetrack.
A Westgate Pub?
Was it? Well, I thought it was called a pit stop. I don't know. I vaguely remember leaving several nights.
Yeah, the one right there. It
was in the parking lot.
Yeah, Westgate Pub.
Yeah.
I used to know the guy that owned it before it dissipated. Because when we would come out for racing, I automatically went over and got 100 or 200 wings, and he was only charging me 10 cents a wing.
Oh, sorry.
Oh God, yeah, $10-$20 bringing a huge amount of wings.
Yeah.
That was almost every weekend.
Yeah, this one was the guy, the Wing King. He had a couple Pintos out there at the time racing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Wing Ding King or something.
Yeah, something like that. He's over in Norfolk or something or other. But we had a lot of good times. This was back in the days when you had old Bubba Adams and Roger Sawyer and Chip Hudson, Phil Ward, which Phil's still around.
Yeah, he's helping out.
I don't know if he's helping anybody.
40 car. Can he help out 40 car?
No, he's not with CE.
No, he left him a couple years ago.
Where's he helping Matt out? Waltz. He's helping somebody.
He's kind of freelancing around a little bit. I don't think he's got a permanent gig.
I think
Not that I know of.
I did see him. I think
he's got something set up because he was going to supposedly Mark Words, because Mark was telling me that Phil might be driving one of his other cars. Was supposed to go out to the
Phil's a good guy.
Late model at Martinsville, but I never saw his name pop up. I really didn't look either. So
he wasn't there.
No, probably the same deal he told me and Terry about driving his other car at Langley a couple of races. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I got to clear it to the colonel, and here's Terry already coming to the track for the race. Forgot to tell you that. Yeah. Anywho.
Clear that with the boss man.
Yeah. Something gets me. People tell you something, and then I forgot to tell you.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's way too much more. That's like the stuff we're running through now with the government shutdowns. Hey, fire on.
Well, I guess that's all done, right? I think they come to an agreement today.
Yeah, they came to an agreement today, but I think it's got to be voted on still.
Oh, does it? I don't even pay attention.
Did they do the debt thing too?
Yeah, everything was resolved until February.
Oh, so they just did a continuing resolution for several months.
Yeah.
Did you see the page I put up there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Tired of Congress? Go replace all of them.
I mean, they can't even. I mean,
I also saw where Karen sent you a thing that said.
We got somebody hacked your account and I said, no, I just got that many pages and got that many hats. So ain't no fun if you can't rile them up.
Yeah, the government's a whole different world. That's one of them. Don't get me started.
Yeah, okay.
Probably all of us. Huh?
They
can't even run the postal service.
Anywho, well, I reckon that's going to wrap it all up. Any sponsors you want to thank before we?
I thank them all. Miles of Seamless Gutter, Joe's Cornhole Boards. Go like them on Facebook. I'd appreciate it. We'll be giving, and Joe's actually he's going to give us a couple of sets of boards, and we're going to give away at arena throughout the arena season. So that's going to be pretty cool. I don't know too many people that.
Can I have your hat on tonight?
He looks really well with it. Look at it. Filthy. I'll make sure I'll get some shirts and stuff, and when I get a box, I'll bring you guys a couple shirts, sweatshirts or something.
All right. Well, I reckon that wraps us up for tonight. Hopefully, we'll catch everybody next week on Let's Talk Racing.
Good night.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Here's your 2011 champion, David Brehm.
Hi, this is David Polens, driver of the 33 NASCAR Late Model, 2011 Old Dominion Speedway Track Champion. Thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driver of the 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure